Hello everyone. So today we are going to learn another concept in JavaScript, which is promise.trace method. So promise.trace method takes inputs as an array of promises and then resolves the first promise that gets executed by its resolution or rejection. That means that if you have, let's just say, three promises which are batched together and passed to promise.trace, then the first promise which will get resolved from that array of promises, that output will get printed by promise.trace or handled by promise.trace. Let's try to understand this with an example. So first we create a promise using const. Let's just say promise1 is equal to new promise. We have a resolve and reject variables. Then within this promise, we add a set timeout method with resolve as the first param. That is, we are resolving the promise in 100 milliseconds and we are passing the value first as the output. Then let's just add another promise called as promise2. Then new promise keyword to define the promise, again with resolve and reject. And we are also going to set timeout here. And let's resolve this promise as well in, let's just say, 200 milliseconds and with the output value as second. Now we can go ahead and write promise.trace. So this is how the syntax is. We write promise.trace, pass array of promises like promise1 and promise2. Then we have the then keyword to get the output of the promise which gets resolved first. Then in this we have the output value, and then we can go with console.log the value, and let's print out the value, and let's just see what this prints out in the console. So after some time, let's just save this, and as you can see, the value first is getting outputted, which means that promise1 got resolved out of these two promises first. The reason being it is set to get resolved in 100 milliseconds, while the second promise is set to resolve in 200 milliseconds, which is why the promise1 got resolved first out of this promise.trace, and then promise1 output got printed out in the console. If we increase the timeout of promise1 to, let's just say, 300, which is greater than promise2, then in that case, the value should get changed to second. The reason being, promise2 will get resolved first in 200 milliseconds, and then the value second will get printed. Now, let's just say we want to not resolve, but let's just say we are rejecting the promise, which is getting resolved first. So if we want to get the rejected promise as well, then we write the catch keyword, then we get the error, and then we console.log the error. So this is the rejected promise output, and in this we will print out the error. Now let's just see the output. So in this case, the output is error, and the second promise got the highest priority and it got run in the promise.trace method, and the rejected keyword took the priority and the rejected error thrown gets printed out in the catch block. So this is how promise.trace works. So the first promise which is resolved or rejected gets caught by the promise.trace function and it gets output with the value. Now let's just say we change this to 400. That is, we change the set timeout value to 400. Then in that case, the promise1 will get resolved first and the output changes to value which is first. So in this case, promise1 value gets resolved and promise1 output will get printed out in the console. Hope the concept of promise.trace is clear to everyone. And that's it from my end for today. Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.